Welcome to Amplifying Leadership and Tip Thursday with Tara. I am Tara Lehman, a partner, coach, and consultant at Twin Life Coaching and Business Services, of which Amplifying Leadership is a division. I hope to bring you some information or a key takeaway you can use to build, enhance, or grow your leadership skills with Tip Thursday with Tara. So today's tip might actually challenge some of those natural instincts as a leader, or even some of those previous thoughts about what a leader is. But I promise that this does work when it's done correctly. I want you to think about when an employee comes to you, and instead of solving problems for them, try coaching them instead. So I know, again, solving problems is, we're normally rewarded for that, especially in our early careers. If we get things done, if we get things done on time, if we fix a major issue or problem, or if we have an answer for other people and we're the problem solver, we get rewarded for that. But when you get into leadership, there is something here to consider. If you are always the one solving the problems, you're actually unintentionally holding your team back from growth. You are also stealing precious time away from yourself, because remember, time doesn't change. It's how we manage it that does. And I'm always aiming to give you back some of that precious time. Let's talk about why coaching is a real superpower for leaders, and even how you can maybe start making that shift if this is not something that comes naturally for you or you haven't tried before. So, for example, when someone comes to you with a problem, your natural instinct might be to just jump in with that advice or a possible solution. You might even be thinking things like, well, it's faster if I just tell them what to do. They'll feel supported if I fix this for them. I know how to solve this. I've seen it before. Just let me take care of that for you. What really happens here, though, is that you are becoming a bottleneck for your team. It slows down the thinking for themselves, and they become really heavily reliable on you because they don't have confidence in the solutions that they might think of in some cases, which leads to constant interruptions coming to you and seeking advice from you or help from you or asking you to, could you fix this for me? And you end up spending that time that we all want to hold precious to us solving everything and not actually leading or creating vision or being strategic. You might feel helpful in the moment, but in the long run, you're actually building a dependence on you for things that do not need to be dependent on you. So let's talk about what coaching is. Coaching is all about asking and not telling or solving. It helps people actually start to think more critically. They can take ownership and accountability for their own solutions. It really does develop confidence in people. And you get stronger problem solvers on your team, which should be the goal. So coaching can also create that ripple effect where your team becomes then more resourceful. They feel empowered and confident and engaged, and you free up your time to focus on what you really need to do. Maybe it's that vision, maybe it's the strategic planning. We all want more time in our day, and we can't get more time. So let's try to give it some back to you that's been taken by people constantly at your door. So how do you actually coach employees rather than solving problems all the time? Well, I want to give you a couple of things that you can do starting today without any big things or, massive training that you need to do. So first of all, I want you to bring back your inner child. Yes, I do. I want you to get curious before you give answers or solutions to your employee. So when someone brings you a problem and you believe that they should or do or could know an answer, you can try asking, well, what have you tried so far? Or what do you think the next step should be? Or what is the real challenge here for you? Asking these types of open questions, so closed being yes or no, we don't want those things. We want open conversational questions. It does a couple of things. This really shows your employees that you believe in their abilities, right? You're showing that you trust them and that you're there to help them. And it also creates that space for them to actually reflect and think about what those next steps could be. The next piece is a little bit more difficult for a lot of people, especially if we know the answer, and that is using silence, taking a pause after asking the question and just being silent. It can be uncomfortable, it can feel weird, but give it a try. So, for example, when you ask a question, don't rush in to fill the space. Let them think, let it be weird and awkward. That pause is where they start to think for themselves and where they start to have a little bit more growth happening. So, if you ask, for example, what have you tried so far? Don't quickly add another question, which is a very common thing that happens, such as, well, what about ABC? Did you try that? So, for example, what can happen is, what have you tried so far? Have you tried ABC? Did you try that? What I want you to do is, what have you tried so far? And then make an awkward pause and let them answer. I also want you to consider that a lot of employees are afraid to make mistakes if there is a trust factor missing. So I want the team not to be afraid of failures or making mistakes, because this is how we grow. It just is. So instead of looking at it as such a, oh my gosh, Tara, I can't believe you did that. Look at the mess you made. Try having a coaching conversation, such as, let's look at what we learned from this mistake. What could we do differently next time? It does build that psychological safety as well that we talk about a lot, but it encourages risk taking using smart and calculated risk taking, of course. And I want you to also consider one more thing, that coaching doesn't have to always be in one-on-one meetings. It doesn't need to be a formal meeting either. You can do it in the hallway chat, a team meeting, 5-minute debrief after a project. How did that go for you? It's about how you lead. It's not about when you do it. So I want to be clear that if this is something that you haven't currently done with your employees, or they're not used to, or you're not used to, it can be uncomfortable. It can be uncomfortable to watch someone struggle through something when you do know how to solve something quickly. But this is about longer term impact for your team. If you keep solving everything, remember, your team will never learn to trust themselves. They will not build the confidence that you want them to have in their abilities that you know they have to get things done. But if you coach through it, they start to see problems as something that maybe they can actually think through, they can navigate through without always needing you. And eventually they'll start to be able to make the right solutions or right decisions without knocking on your door every time. So here's your challenge this week. The next time an employee brings you a problem, don't answer. Instead, I want you to ask something, such as, what do you think we should do here? If I wasn't here today, what would you do? And maybe even what's one small next step that you could take? Then I want you to take that pause and let them respond. Remember, this is going from a shift from being a problem solver for them to a thought partner for them. So be patient. This takes time. And over time, you will see that they will begin to be more about coming to you when they're truly needing a problem to be solved. So coaching instead of solving problems is one of the best gifts that you can truly give your team. And it's one of the best ways to regain some of that precious time that I talked about at the beginning as well, that we need. Again, it's not about having all the answers. It's about helping others discover the answers for themselves, or guiding them through a thought process that they can do before they come to you if they're truly stuck. So go ahead this week, try coaching instead of solving. I help leaders every day turn small insights like this into real world leadership impact with more clarity, confidence, and purpose. The Leadership Success Audit is this quarter's tool where you can uncover opportunities to improve communication, decision-making, and see how you're doing with team performance, energy, and focus. The link will be in the episode summary. That is our Tip Thursday with Tara for this week. If you or someone you know is struggling with leadership priorities to building strong teams, I'm here to help. Please visit our website for more information on programs, coaching, and more at amplifyingleadership.ca, a Twin Life Coaching and Business Services division. Until next time, remember, leadership matters.